Welcome to your video notes on ratio tables. This should hopefully be a review from last year. Don't forget to pause or rewind if you get behind. You'll need the notes that were given out in class and a few writing utensils. I recommend maybe a couple colors and a highlighter. Okay, let's get started. The bakers at Bagel Bin can make 330 bagels in 5 hours. We want to try and figure out how many bagels they can bake in 14 hours and also what is their rate per hour. So I'm going to first start by labeling what everything in my table stands for, what each line is going to be. So I think that maybe my first row is going to be bagels and my second row is going to be hours. If you set it up the other way, that's fine too. And then I'm going to take my given information. I'm told that 330 bagels are made in 5 hours. I'm trying to get to 14 hours. So I think the first place I might go, I think I'm going to multiply by 2. So I'm going to take my 5 hours, multiply by 2, and that is going to get me 10 hours and 660 bagels. So I'm close. I'm not quite to my 14 yet, but it gives me a starting point. So now I know that I'm 4 away from 14. I think actually I want to try and get 2 hours here. So how can I get 2 hours from 10? Well, I can divide by 5. All right, so I'm going to divide by 5. And when I divide by 5, that's going to give me 2 hours and 132 bagels. Well, from here, I can figure out, well, if I just duplicate this again, then I have a 10, a 2, and a 2, and that gets me to 14. So I'm just going to rewrite this information again. And now what I can do is I can take these 3 sections, and if I add up the data that's in the rows, so 10 plus 2 plus 2 gives me 14. And then if I add the 660, the 132, and the 132, that's going to give me 924, which answers my question. I get Bagel Bin can make 924 bagels in 14 hours. Now, I still have a second question, which is asking about my rate per hour. Well, that tells me that I want to find out for 1 hour, what's it going to be? Well, if I have a 2 here, to go from 2 to 1 is pretty easy. I'm just going to divide by 2. I'm going to use my arrows showing that I'm dividing by 2 so that if I need to look back at my work, I can remember what I did. So I'm going to do the same thing up here and divide by 2. When I do that, I get 66 bagels every hour. So now I've answered both of my questions. 924 bagels in 14 hours and 66 bagels every hour. And I didn't use all my spaces. That's okay. There's extra ones there just in case I need them. All right, let's take a look at the next one. You can buy 5 cans of green beans from Harris Teeter for $3.90 or 10 cans of the same green beans from Costco for $5.10. We want to figure out which one's the better buy. So for this one, I've made 3 rows. So my top one is going to be, I think, how many cans. I could also put that at the bottom or the middle. I mean, really, I can go multiple ways with this. But I think I'm going to do my cans here. Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to put cans in the middle and separate out the two stores. So we'll go cans in the middle, and we'll put Harris Teeter on top and Costco on the bottom. So I know that 5 cans at Harris Teeter are going to cost $3.90, and 10 cans at Costco is going to cost $5.10. All right, well, given this information, to go from 5 to 10, I know that I'm just going to multiply by 2. So times 2. So that tells me that at Harris Teeter, it's going to be $7.80 for 10 cans of green beans. Well, I can clearly see at this point the better deal. The better buy is clearly going to be Costco, and by a lot too. But let me prove it another way. Now I think I'm going to look at what is going to be the cost for 1 can of green beans. So to do that, I'm simply going to divide by 10, because that's how many cans each of these numbers represents. This is called unit rate when you're looking at the cost for a single item. Well, and the nice part about dividing by 10 is I'm just going to move my decimal point over. So it's going to be 78 cents per can at Harris Teeter compared to 51 cents per can at Costco. So that helps to prove that Costco is going to be my better deal. Next, a Ferris wheel can accommodate 65 people in 30 minutes. How many people could ride the Ferris wheel in 5 hours? And what is the rate per hour? I think I'm going to put my people on the top and my minutes, or time, I think I'm going to call it time, on the bottom. So our given information says 65 people in 30 minutes. So 30 minutes, which I'm also going to put in here is a half hour, because ultimately it's asking me about hours. So this is a fraction of an hour. I want to get to some whole numbers here. So I know that if I take a half hour and I multiply it by 2, that gives me a whole hour. So times 2 times 2. And that's going to give me 130 people every hour, which is actually the second question. So I'm going to write my answer over here. 130 people can ride per hour. And I see up here that I didn't answer this question. So I'm going to say Costco has the better buy. Just want to make sure that I finish out each question. Okay, so back to this one, back to our Ferris wheel. So that's 1 hour. But my question asks me about 5 hours. So I can take my 1 hour and now I can multiply by 5. And that's going to tell me how long it's going to take in 5 hours. So 1 times 5 is simply 5. 130 times 5 is going to give me 650 people. So 650 people can ride in 5 hours. And again, there's plenty of extra space if I wanted to divide up my information another way, or if maybe I simply wanted to look at some other rates. Maybe I want to look at 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. I have plenty of space to look at that. Finally, a sweater is on sale for 60% off the original price. The discount is $45. We want to know what is the original price, and then therefore what is the sale price. This discount is not the sale price, it's how much we're subtracting from the original. So I think I'm going to put this is more of a part to whole problem. So part to whole. So the part in this case is the sale, the whole is the original, okay? So I'm going to start with my sale being 60% off. My whole is 100 or 100%. I'm trying to get to 45 in my discount section here. So I'm going to put the 45 over here. I may or may not use the whole space, but at least I know what I'm shooting for. All right, so at first I think I'm going to divide by 2. make my numbers a little bit smaller because I see 60 is bigger than 45. So I'm going to do some dividing by 2. When I divide by 2, that gets me 30 and 50. And I think, you know what, I think I want to divide by 10. And then I can put this in lowest terms. So divide by 10, and that gets me to 3 and 5. But I think that's too low because I'm trying to get to 45. So maybe that didn't quite work for me, but that's okay. So maybe, let's see, 30 plus what gets me to 45? 30 plus 15. Well, I can multiply 3 times 5, and that'll get me to 15. So we can do that. So times 5 times 5, and that's going to get me 15 here and 25 here. And here's the great part about this, is if I, actually let me use my pink, take this box, this column, and I take this other column right here, 30 plus 15 is 45. 50 plus 25 gets me 75. So this tells me that my sweater originally cost $75. Okay, so I didn't use all the spaces, that's fine. Another way that I could have gotten here is I could have also taken this, and if I divide by 2, that also gets me to this same fraction there. So just put it up there. So now I see that the original price of the sweater is $75. So that's part of the first part of my question. So the sweater originally cost $75. Now I need to find the sale price. Well, I know that it's $45 off. So 75 minus 45, and when I subtract 75 and 45, I get $30. So I can say the sale price is $30. All right, are you with me? Did you understand everything? Do you need to hear an explanation again? That's fine. Go back and rewind. Listen to it again. Does your paper look like mine? Is it completely filled in? If it's not, again, go back and rewind. Thanks for joining me for ratio tables.